Guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to sew this pencil dress with circle sleeve. Yes, and so we are going to start with the down part before we go to the upper part. Now, to get the down part, the length of the person, then you deduct the half length from it, and the half length is shoulder to waist. If you don't know how to take measurement, I have a link in the description box concerning how to take measurements. You can watch. Yes, and so the length of this dress is 56 and the half length is 17, and so when you take 17 from 56, it's going to be left with 39, and so 39, then I added 1 inch to it, and that is 40. So the length I have here is 40 inches. Yes, please, if you are watching me and you have not yet subscribed, consider subscribing, like and share this video. Okay, then the width of the fabric is the larger part divided into 4 plus 3 inches. So the hip is 46 divided into 4 is 11.5 plus 3 is going to be 13.5, but what I have here is 14 points, almost 14.5. okay, and so when you get that, you are going to times it by 4. When you times it by 4, you divide it by 2, and then the 2, one will be for front and one will be for back. And so you can see that this one is for front. I folded it into 2. Do you get it? Okay, and then this one is for back. Now with the back, the difference is that you add some inches for zip allowance. Yes, inches for zip allowance, and I have 1.5 here for my zip allowance. Okay, so that's how you get the width of the fabric and also the length of the fabric. Yes, so you are going to place our measurement on it. This one is very quick. This part is going to be the waistline. Okay, so the waist of the person is 36. You will divide it into 4, and that's going to be 9. Then you add 1 inch that to 8. Yes, that, and then that's going to be 10. Then the 10, you add 2 inches to 8, and that's going to be 12. The 2 inches is for extra allowance, so 12. So you place the 12 at the waistline here. Then from here you measure the hip, waist to hip. Waist to hip, we are going to make use of 9.5 inch for what? For sewing allowance. Okay, so it's going to be here, and then we are going to place the hip measurement, and that is 11.5 plus 2, and that's going to give us 13.5, but I'm going to make it 14. And so the measurement I did was when I was doing the calculation, the 11.5 plus 3 is going to be 14.5, but I said 14.5. So what we have is okay, and so this is it, and I'm going to use my curve here to get the shape. So this is it. Okay, then I'm going to come to the down side here where we are going to get our pencil. When it comes to the pencil, the down here, you are going to determine how fitted you want or how loose you want it. But I know pencil, if it becomes too loose, it will not be nice. Yes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the down here 15. Mine doesn't want it too tight. Yes, so 15, that's going to be 7.5, but I'm going to add sewing allowance to 8, and so I'm going to make it 7.5. I'm going to make it 9 inches. That is 1.5 sewing allowance, so 18 is okay. 9 inches here, you see. Okay, let me make it 9.5. So I've added 2 inches to the 7.5. Do you get it? Okay, and that's okay. And so from this side, I'm going to join it straight to the hip side. Okay, so this is it. So hope you can see it well, the pencil shape and everything perfectly. So, and for the upper part, we are going to use the bigger part of the body to determine the fabric. The bust is the bigger part, and that is 42. And so 42, you divide it by 4, and that's going to be 10.5 plus 3 inches, and that's going to be 13.5. And so 13.5, you multiply it by 4 and then divide it by 2. And when you divide it by 2, one is going to be for front and one is going to be for back. And then the back, you will add your sewing allowance, and then the back you add your zip allowance, which is 1.5 added to it. So this is for the back, and then this one is for the front, folded into 2. We are going to place our measurement on it, and the length is shoulder to waist plus 1. And so the shoulder to waist is 17 plus 1, and that's 18. Okay, so this is it. And so we are going to place our measurement on it. Okay, so we are going to measure our back, and the back measurement is 15 divided by 2, and that's going to be 7.5 plus ½ inch for sleeve, and that's going to be 16. So that's 8. So 8 inches here. Okay, and then the neck width that I am using is 4 inches. I'm using a neck width of 4 inches here. Okay, and then the neck dip for the front is going to be 7 inches. 7 inches including sewing allowance. And then the neck dip for the back is going to be 2 inches. 2 inches. Yes. Okay, now for the front neck, you are going to make it V, a V neck shape. You can use any neck shape that you want, but we are making it V for the front neck. Okay, now for the back neck, we are going to make it round. Okay, so this is it. I'm going to place the armhole here. The armhole is 18 divided by 2 is going to be 9. So 9 inches here, and I'll come to where we ended for the back, and I'll mark the same 9 also here. Then join it together. So this is it. And then we are going to draw our armhole. Okay, and we are going to have our shoulder slope. Okay, and then we are going to get our middle, armhole middle, and so this is it. And then we are going to have come in by 0.5, that's ½ inch, and that's going to be for the front armhole. So let's measure the armhole. The armhole, 18 divided by 2 is going to be 9. And so 9, and because you are going to sew the shoulder by ½ inch, you're going to make it 9.5. And because of also sleeve, the sleeve you are going to add to it, will add 1 inch to it, and that's going to be 10.5, which is here. 10.5, if it's here, then you have to have some extra allowance, and so we are going to have an extra allowance of 1.5. So it's going to be here. So instead of marking from here, we are either going to mark it from where the ½ inch is. Shoulder to bust is 11.5 plus half, and that's going to be 12. And then we are going to place our bust measurement there. The bust is 10. That's 40 divided by 4, and that's going to be 10. Okay, so 40 divided by 4 is going to be 10. I said 42. No, it's not 42. It's 40 divided by 4, and that's going to be 10 plus 2 inches allowance, and that's going to be 12. So 12 here, and then the waist too is 9 plus 1 inch for that, and then 2 inches allowance, which is also 12. And so I decided not to add any darts to the back because the dart is actually at the waistline. Okay, so we are going to place our curve at the armhole and then join it to the waist. Okay, so this is it. Now we can go ahead and then cut it. So we are cutting the back neck first. Okay, and what you are going to do is to take this and then cut the front neck. And we are also going to cut the front armhole. So this armhole is just for the front. You don't include the back, please. So I'm just cutting for the front part. And so you see the back and the front. Okay, so you are going to put this aside. After, you can divide it into two. Divide the back into two. So put this aside and then cut for the sleeve. I have two fabrics together. I'm going to take one out. Okay, so each fabric is for each sleeve. Yes. Now this circle, you will determine the width and the length of the fabric based on the length of the sleeve. And I want the length of the sleeve to be 14. Yes, the length to be 14. And so 14, I just added 1 to 8, and that's going to be 14. I just added 1 to 8 for it to be 15. Yeah, so if it's 15, it means you need 15 times 4. That's going to be 60. And so I have here, even it's more than 15, I have it as 16. So when you measure this one to 16, and you could see that I folded it into 4. And so when I open up this way, this length, the length is 32 because it's 16, it's 32. And then from this here also to here is also 32. Do you get it? So that is it. So that's what you are supposed to get. 32 width, 32 length. Then you fold it into 4. So fold it together this way, and then we'll fold it together again, and that's going to be 4. I have a video on how to cut this circle sleeve. That is full shoulder circle sleeve. You can check on it. I'm going to leave the link there for you. After folding it into 4, the next thing we are going to do is to measure the sleeve length. So we are going to measure the sleeve length, and I'm going to use everything here. So what I have here is almost, I'm going to make it 15.5. 15.5. We are marking it all around. So from the edge here, you see, the edge here, okay. I have a video on this, so I will leave the link there for more details for you. Okay, so we are going to cut through this. We are going to cut through it. Okay, so after this, I'm going to open up this way. The armhole is 18, so we are going to do calculation. 18, we are going to divide it by 6.28. Divided by 6.28, and I'm going to get 2.8, but I'm going to make it 3. And so 3 inches. This is the middle. This is the middle of it, yes. And I'm going to stand at the middle here and measure 3 inches. And measure 3 inches, okay. Usually we will open up, but let me do it the same way. Then from this 3 inches, I'm going to measure 3 inches again. And I'm going to measure 3 inches all through from the same point, you see. So the middle here, you measure 3 inches and then 3 inches from that point. And I'm measuring 3 inches all around. I have a video there which will give you much details, or more details, so you can refer to that. So we'll get to the exact point, and so I'm just drawing it out. Okay, so this is it. So it is folded into 2. If you open up to, you are going to do the same thing, and at the end of the day, you are going to get a circle. So this is full shoulder circle sleeve. Okay, so this is it. Then after, the next thing is to divide. So after you see that this place is short, this part is long. When you fix it, everything will be equal. And so the next thing is, this is the shorter part. The shorter part is what is going to the armhole side. And so that's where you are going to divide into 2. This is coming to the shoulder part. Okay. So I'm going to place this on the other fabric and then cut for the next sleeve. And so this is it. And so let's see when I measure what I'm going to get. Okay, so I have some 10.5, and so we can decide to even go in a bit. Yes, I'm going to take few inches from it. I'll just come here. Okay, so I'm going to have it this way. Okay, so I'm going to measure and see. Okay, so I have about 11.25 is okay for me. So I'm going to place it on this and then get the same thing also. Okay, so this is it for the sleeves. We are done cutting, and so the next thing to do is to place everything on a lining and cut lining for each. So I'm going to do that off camera, then we'll continue.